Welcome to Bytes from CPX. I'm Juliet Nichols, and today's episode is all about the next era of cyber resilience, intelligence-led detection and action. With threats becoming more sophisticated and faster moving, traditional defense methods simply aren't enough. Organizations need to stay several steps ahead by leveraging intelligence to detect and neutralize risks before they can cause damage. To explore this, I'm joined by Azeem Aleem, the Executive Director of Cyber Resilience Services at CPX. We'll look at the evolving threat landscape and understand what intelligence-led security truly is. And yes, we'll wrap up with a fun secure or suspect lightning round, so stay tuned. Thank you for being here. So, first, can you help us understand what intelligence-led detection actually is for those of us who don't know?
There's a big Chinese proverb that a man who goes out to hunt two rabbits at the same time catches none of them. What does it mean? This is a perfect philosophy for predicting what is happening in the world of cybersecurity. In my 20 years of incident response and threat intelligence, I'm seeing that organizations are chasing rabbits. And that's where intelligence-led security comes in. If you bisect this, what we're looking into is be the hunter, not the prey, which means that you need to understand your environment. Even though you are looking at this conference right now, there's so many products, so many vendors, there's a lot of things out to protect you. But one of the things, and there's also fear in terms of what the different kind of intelligence group or APT groups or advanced criminals are doing. But one thing which people forget, it's your terrain that they will attack. That means you know your terrain. You know your advantages of your terrain. It's as your own house. But to know the advantages, you need to understand your terrain. Mean to say, you need to understand what are your crown jewels. There's no 100% security. You cannot secure the whole house. But you need to understand what are your crown jewels and how do you protect that, number one. Then you need to understand, if I'm able to protect that, how will I protect if there's a hack that's been done? So what it means in a technical language, the risk analysis. Understanding this is my crown jewel, these are my risk analysis, this is my high risk fidelity, these are my low risk. What is my priority for the next 3 years to develop a cyber assessment or cyber posture in terms of being more intelligence-led company? Once you do that, you are on the phase of what we call as intelligence-led security. The second thing is, which I want to add, is set the trap for the rabbits. We're still talking about rabbits here. Set the traps for the rabbit means that you need to start thinking like a hacker. Okay? If you don't think like a hacker, you will not be able to bisect their mentality. When I say mentality, in an IT word is called TTPs, tactics, tools, and processes. And you have to start to do perhaps lateral movement into your environment to see if you bisect or if you enter your environment, whether you have the tools, tactics, and processes to intercept that. Because the key is what we call is the breach exposure time. The time the adversary is in your environment to the time the adversary is detected or is been eradicated is called breach exposure time. Because there's no 100% security. You will be hacked, everyone else will be hacked. But that is the key where we bring what we call is intelligence-led security and setting the trap for the rabbit.
So, this is starting to make sense, but what's the difference between intelligence-led and the more traditional security approaches that we might be familiar with?
It's a very good question. Traditional perimeter defenses were about, this is my crown jewels and I need to protect it and that is it. Or this is my security I need to protect. The intelligence-led security is based on what we call actionable intelligence. Now you will say, okay, Azeem, another acronym, another buzzword, actionable, what does it mean? We are in this era where we are overwhelmed by intelligence, where we are being thrown into this, where the intelligence is a big thing, but we are overwhelmed. We are, or you can say, we are blessed with so much intelligence. The key is to find the needle in the haystack, which is called actionable intelligence. What is specific to me? What is specific to, let's say, industry of healthcare sector, to a financial sector? The intelligence has to be different, which means the groups that are attacking me has to have a different pattern, different motive. And I need to understand that I cannot go to one sector, let's say aviation security, and say that the same attacker groups will probably attack the healthcare security. They might sometimes, but most of the cases, the motives are different, the tactics are different. When you say tactics, you're talking about a bank robber that goes in to rob a bank. I know this is now ages of traditional. No one goes to rob a bank; they hack a bank. But when you talk about that, they used to leave a footprint. That is the same what I'm talking about. That traditional security was a parameter defense security where you had a layered approach and that is it. Here we're talking about intelligence led security with actionable intelligence. What is specific to me? There's so many knocks coming on the door of my house. Will I set the alarm for every knock? No. I need to understand what is the right noise, which means filtering of the white noise. Again, a new term for you, but filtering of the white noise again is away from a traditional security. I hope that I've answered the question.
Yeah, no, you absolutely have. So, why is this approach critical right now? What's changed in the landscape? I mean, you mentioned some things that have changed obviously over time. What else has changed in the landscape that makes intelligence-led security so important right now?
By 2024, the UAE digital economy was around $30 billion. Okay. By 2030, we're anticipating $140 billion of a digital economy.
Wow.
That means there's opportunity. That means crime follows opportunity. And that it means also that things are moving so fast. I mean, I just came from RSA conference. We have autonomous cars there, cars without drivers moving around. We have the OT element, the critical national infrastructures are becoming more remote. That creates a huge potential in terms of vulnerabilities. So that is the reason you cannot secure everything. I've always said, and this is not something that I brought in, but it's been always said, security is not a product. Security is a process, and the process involves people, processes, and technology. So for that, intelligence-led security is okay. The way the pace is going, I cannot protect everything, but I need to start looking into what I can protect and how I can protect efficiently, and then understanding that if I'm being hacked or breached, whether I have those capability to minimize the breach exposure time. So this is, I would say, this is the era for intelligence-led security. We have to get away from perimeter defenses, traditional securities, because otherwise, we will sink in. You're talking about OT, IoTs. They are advancing. The critical national infrastructures are becoming more remote. So you get into this problem where if you don't catch up, you will not be able to catch or chase those rabbits.
Okay, so you've convinced me that we need intelligence-led detection now. How can organizations who are tuning into this practically integrate it into their offering?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think you have to do step by step. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. They say it was brick by brick,
Yeah.
and that's how you need to look into it. First of all, as I said, I'll repeat again, you need to understand your terrain. You need to understand your environment in terms of where you are and how you're mapping your risk. And then you need to start developing what we call is enhanced detection and response capability. Now, some of the organizations already have what we call a security operations center. Some of them have not. And in both the cases, what I'm saying is that they need to enhance the detection response capability, which also means the buzzword, again, AI, artificial intelligence. Many organizations needs to embed artificial intelligence in the detection and the response call capability, which means, again, the filtering of the white noise. They to use because the cyber criminals are using AI. We've seen every day. They're using to deceive. They're using to do lateral movement. So organizations need to have an enhanced detection response capability, and especially in the era of AI. Here in the conference as well, you see everybody's talking about AI because it is there and it is exploding. Now, when I say exploding, the hackers, the cyber criminals, the nation state actors are using AI to deceive the systems, to deceive the environment, to become more stealthier and do lateral movement. To bisect that, to deceive that, or decept that, you need to have this intelligence led security, which means enhancing detection and response capability. Many organizations have SOC and many do not have SOC. The Security Operations Center is a core to this. And for that, to embed AI is very, very important. And also, the filtering of the white noise is very important. When I say filtering of the white noise, the knock on the windows we need to reduce the noise. And the reducing the noise is you can't just tell people not to knock. You need to see what are the credible noise. And that is filtering the white noise. And that is the step by step kind of how organization can do. And I think integrating is the steps are you either have a developed SOC, a very mature SOC, either you develop yourself or you come to partners like us for development of those. The SOC needs to have some kind of AIs because the faster you respond to minimize the breach exposure time, the bigger success rate you have. We have seen in UAE that there has been groups, APT groups, nation state actors who have been into the customer environment for 190 days. So that is a long time. The nation state actors and the cyber criminals have an agenda and they're moving forward with their agenda. And for that agenda, they can stay low and stealthier in the environment for even more than 190 days. That means you need faster response. When you detect them, you need faster response. We're seeing in UAE 58% rise of ransomware attack. We're talking about double extortion, triple extortion attacks in the ransomware. It's huge uptake of what is happening. These cyber criminals are coming for the financial gains. We're also seeing that these groups are combining hands, the Middle Eastern groups are combining hands with the European groups to share the details in terms of how to attack an organization. Okay.
This sounds like a huge amount to tackle. Do you have any success stories you'd love to share in the area of intelligence-led detection?
Yeah, I mean, there are many, many examples, but based on our role, we have to respect the confidentiality of the customers.
Course,
But the recent case I was saying that the adversary was in the customer environment for 190 days. When it was picked up, we had 48 hours because the ransom note was put on the website, and most of the function of that organization was stopped. The organization came to halt with a 10% operational capability. Now, this is crisis. Yeah. This is where we called in. We went in, we helped the organization within the next 36 hours to go back to a 60% operational capability. Now, what did we do? Did we do any magic? No. We went in, we looked into what the attack surface is. We very quickly look into where the incident happened, which doors are open. And as we were doing this, we started doing threat hunting to understand who the group is. Because I talked to you about intelligence-led security, we want to look at the patterns of that. Why we were looking at the patterns? Because by looking at the patterns, every group has a vulnerability. Every group has a weakness. So we knew what their weakness is. So as we were doing the threat hunting, we also started to tap on the remediation, mean to say putting a stop at the gate of what has been gone out and what to see what they're taking. As we were doing all these three things, we were also looking at what damage has been done. And based on that, within 36 hours, we went to 60% operational capability. And now the customer is with us in terms of we monitor their whole security. We're their trusted partners. We are helping them to develop their cybersecurity strategy for the next 3 years. And again, this shows you that how important it is that you work on the trust of the client.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds really exciting and clearly really successful. So, this space will obviously evolve over the coming years. You've mentioned some of the ways it might evolve. Are there any trends? Are there any kind of areas of the space that you really see evolving and that you're particularly excited about?
Artificial intelligence is here to stay. And either you embrace it or I would say you will die. And that means two sides. All the attackers, all the cyber criminal groups that we are seeing right now, they are actively using artificial intelligence from the stage of reconnaissance all the way to lateral movement and data exfiltration. They're using them. This also means that all those who are on the good side of cybersecurity, like CPX and others, they need to evolve with artificial intelligence. We're actively doing it right now within CPX. We've just acquired a new company called Spider-Silk. And we're looking into these elements of things like agentic SOC to automate our filtering knocks on the windows to create what we call is enhanced detection and response capability. So I think this is the key for the success. You cannot secure 100% everything. And this is where you need to understand what your crown jewels are. And to understand your crown jewels, you need to adapt to the AI.
It's really fascinating stuff. Okay, so to close, if you could choose one mindset for every organization to take in the area of security, what would it be?
I'll take two.
Okay.
I will say one of the things is, which I always say, be the hunter And this is a word which people say, okay, what do you mean? It mean to say organizations need to start having a hunting capability, mean to say they need to hunt. What are the adversaries that are attacking me? What are their tactics? What are their behavior? And how do I define the pattern? You need to have a hunting team within organizations that you let loose. And then they'll define what we say is what is the threat landscape happening. The other thing is, which I always say is, if the rabbit is out, okay, we again come back to rabbit. If the rabbit is out, how do you chase the rabbit? This is what we're saying. When the incident happens, when there's a breach, how do you manage the breach? I've been in the industry for more than 20 years. Whenever we've been called in for an incident or threat intelligence, I see chaos. I see chaos in terms of what is happening. And this is where every organization I say is, you either need to have an incident response strategy, capability, or you need to seek out support, because otherwise it will be a chaos. So this is my two advices to the customers.
Basically, come and see you if there's a crisis.
Yes, and we will help them.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Right, to finish up, we're going to have a game of secure or suspect. So I'm going to give you a statement, and you're going to tell me, Azeem, if it's secure or suspect.
Exciting.
Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so first one, AI will fully replace human threat hunters. Secure or suspect?
Suspect.
Tell me why.
I can't fully replace the human element. In security, the human element needs to be there. It will enhance the human capability. And that's what we're saying. AI will probably remove some of the human elements in some of the roles, but overall, it will enhance the human's capability. So it will not be totally able to replace human capability.
Well, that's encouraging. Okay, second one, the more tools you have, the better your detection. Secure or suspect?
Suspect.
Tell me why.
I
You're
said
surprising me every time.
security is a process, and process involve people, procedures, and technology. So technology is only a small bit of that. The tools are only good as you fine tune them. If tools was that good, we would not here. The hackers would have had been defeated long time ago. Tools are great. They are the way to move forward, but we need to fine tune that. That means you need people and procedures and processes. And for that, you need the human capabilities.
Okay, third one, threat intelligence is only about preventing attacks.
A suspect. I'm saving my time.
And I'm convinced now after this episode, so thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Good.
And that wraps another episode of Bytes from CPX. A huge thank you to Azeem Aleem for being our guest on this episode.
Thank you. It was an honor to be here. Thank you very much for the questions, and lovely to be here. Thank you very much.
That wraps up another episode of CPX Bytes. Huge thank you to Azeem Aleem for being our wonderful guest today. And if there's one takeaway from me, it's this. In a world of evolving threats, resilience isn't just about responding faster, it's about predicting, preventing, and staying one step ahead. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe the podcast for more conversations on the future of cyber defense, and we'll catch you next time.